What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to upgrade the OEM brakes on the Toyota Chaser, and what we're going to install is Toyota Lexus IS300 brake system because it is readily available here all over the states. However, I'm upgrading some of the components like braided steel lines, and instead of the OEM Lexus IS300, I'm going with some power stop stuff. So tag along, take a look. I'm going to try to provide all the information you need to do this yourself. So stick around. Power stop brake pads. Take a look. The front ones on the Chaser look like this. They're in really good shape. There's part numbers. So we do have different part numbers. Woof! These are heavy. If I remember correctly, I did buy some extra brake pads. So we are doing front and back. Here are some part numbers for you guys. Oh my God. God bless. Going to assume these are the rear ones, but I don't know for sure. Fuck, these motherfuckers are heavy. They are stout. 2-piston. Very nice. Whew. There's the other one. Originally, I was thinking to paint these a different color, but honestly, I don't mind the color, so I'm gonna leave the color. Jesus, they're heavy as fuck though. The other box of brake pads. My fingers are numb, so it's difficult for me to pick this shit up. There's the part number. My back's already giving me a hard time. In case you're wondering. Probably not. Ooh. Big boys. Very nice. God, this motherfucker's huge. There's the part number. So you need this kit in order to swap over to the IS300 brake system. I will provide links. Suspicious Garage, and this is the braided steel lines. If your brake system is stock, you want to replace these because the rubber inside the stock brake lines wears out over time. So 25 years, that's a lot of rubber falling out in there. So you need to upgrade your brake line to something like this. So that's it for unboxing the braking system. Not entirely sure if I'm missing any pads or not because I thought I bought an extra set, but I'll double check. So you guys just saw I tried to use a 10mm and that thing just turned all the way around. So what I did was spray a little bit of WD-40, let it sit for about 30 seconds or whatever it was, a minute. And then I grabbed the vice grips, tighten those mothers up as much as possible, and then I give them a little bit tight, a little bit turn to tighten it, and then I loosened it up, and it just started spinning after that, and we're good. So I didn't strip that too much, but it is stripped now. So I'm gonna have to be very careful when I put it back on when I'm tightening it. So you really want to replace these lines because they're old as dirt. And you can tell as soon as you start messing with it how old it is. Need to be replaced. They are no good anymore. Here's a new one. And it slides right in. I'm just going to bend these two ends here a little bit so that it goes in there and stays tight. Don't squeeze it too hard, but basically that's what I'm doing. You don't want that to move while it's there. And then I'm going to try and lift this up and push it in further, but I want to tighten this first so it can stop leaking all that brake fluid. Make sure you don't get the brake fluid anywhere on your car's paint because it will fuck it up. Okay, you see how I have it there? I'm gonna try and zoom in so y'all can see the shit. I have that wedged in there so that I can come back with this and give it a few love taps. Have some fluid coming out of the other end, but that's okay. Before I take the whole caliper out, I'm gonna loosen up the banjo bolt for this brake line. So for the banjo bolt, it's a 14 millimeter. Okay, it's loosened up. I don't need to take it all the way out. For the caliper itself, it's another 14 millimeter. So these two bolts are 14 millimeter, and then the ones behind it, I believe, are 17. You will need to reuse the banjo bolt, however, you need to change the crush washers. Those are the little copper washers. And you will need to reuse these two 14 millimeter bolts as well. So now I can take this out. Now you have two 17s in the back. Now on the other side I had to use a breaker bar. Let's hope, I'm gonna have to use the breaker bar as well here. Oh, that hurt. I'm gonna use this big ass mallet and give it a few smacks. Ow, motherfucker, shit. Oh, that hurt. Ooh, that ricocheted really bad. 17 millimeter. Fuck, that hurt so bad. Let's go for the bottom one. Shit's on there pretty fucking tight. What you're looking at right now is me spending about half an hour trying to take out those 17 millimeter bolts that hold the outside of the caliper onto the rotor. And it was a pain in the butt. I mean, I had to come up with some, what you guys call it, jerry rigging. We call it a jale chicano. So as funky and goofy as this looks, I had to do what I had to do because this is the only way I was able to get it out. Check it out. This motherfucker don't want to come out. So I was able to get one of the bolts out using the jack. I basically put it against the car and the other end against the breaker bar, and I just opened up the jack and it popped and came out. Now I'm just trying to do the upper one, and that one's also being a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna try again. I just need to try from a different angle. Okay, I finally got the top bolt loose, and I'm gonna show you guys real quick how I did that. You have to be very careful if you try and repeat this because these things will snap, and if one of these things snaps and it actually hits you, you could break a bone because this thing could really fucking hurt you. So what I did was put the wrench on the top bolt And you can see right there, I basically set up this thing. It was closed all the way. You're gonna see it's gonna fall down here in a sec, but it was closed up. Nothing here got damaged. All of this was already like this, so that's good. The good thing is it's a pretty flat surface and shit. I would recommend you guys doing it this way because it will puncture this. You need a flat surface to put up against this. But anyways, the other end of this was against the wrench, and basically I just opened it up. But again, you got to do this while it's closed so you can get in there. And I did it slowly so that that thing doesn't pop on me and go flying and shit, just in case it was going to. The freaking breaker bar didn't work, so it was just too big. I couldn't get enough leverage. But there you go. There's one way to do things. Ad's in decent shape. Rotor is still in decent condition as well. The wire brush, wire wheel deal, and I'm just gonna clean this off. You have to clean the oil off because the oil is only put there so these things don't rust when they're in storage. But otherwise, they need to be cleaned. These things are a real pain in the ass to get in there. These clips. That one's not seated flush properly yet. Yeah, I gotta push it back. It's hitting right there. This one's fine. Just showing you how these go so you guys can do it on your own. These things are kind of a pain in the butt to get in there. And my hand is killing me. Gotta put some Loctite. Forget to put these clips in, and if you have some grease, you're gonna put some grease here and here and to the back of this. Ooh, I just realized, oh, there's a sensor. Here's the sensor that tells you you'll hear a loud screeching sound once your brake pad wears down. This is what rubs up against the rotor and creates that loud squeal that you guys usually hear when you're slowing down, like that's what's causing that. And that's supposed to be there. It's supposed to let you know that, hey, it's time for a brake change. Brake pad change at least. Anyways, once you have the clips in, all you're gonna do is slide that right in there like so. Same for the bottom. Or top, I mean. That's it. And then you just slap the caliper back on and you're good. You're golden. Alright, so I have the fronts done. Now I'm going to do the back. I did the driver's side rear and it was kind of tricky. The little metal pieces, wires or whatever that go behind the caliper were really difficult to figure out, and I actually couldn't figure it out myself. I thought I did, but then somebody else posted how it's supposed to go and I had to take it back off and redo it. So if you have a 14 millimeter that's a little bit thinner than the others, you're going to want to put it right here, and then you're going to grab your other 14 millimeter and put it right there. And basically this outer bolt is tightened up to this nut. So when you're trying to loosen this, the nut wants to tighten up. So what you need to do, I don't know if you guys just saw that right now, but basically I put this all the way this way, came over here and smacked the small one to the left, and that loosened it up. By putting this outer one up against this, it doesn't allow it to move, and it loosened up, and now I can just Boom, boom. Same thing down here. And you're gonna have to remove this banjo bolt as well again. I'm changing out the whole line again. This is a number 10, I believe. And then I gotta remove the 2 bolts that hold the whole outer caliper piece. So before I take out the whole caliper, I'm gonna loosen up the banjo.
Music licensing reimagined.
Just loosen up the banjo. Keep in mind that the brake fluid, it is extremely corrosive. I had some plastic here on the floor and some of that shit fell on it and it ate it all up and it turned it brittle and cracked it and broke it. So keep that shit in mind. Very corrosive.
Artlist.io.
This thing was a pain on the other side.
Music licensing reimagined.
Bringing you guys up close so you can hear this pop as I tighten this. One, 2. You don't have to sit there and hammer it for a half hour.
Artlist.io.
You gotta pop off this horseshoe.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
And then this comes off.
Reimagined.
Goes on the new one.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
You put on the spring back here first, then the tensioner, then this one here and this one here. Then you put on the middle one down there. See it? And then you gotta put on the 2 springs right here.
Artlist.io.
One. Make sure that stays in.
Music licensing reimagined.
2. In true typical fashion, my camera fucking battery died, so I don't even know when it died, but some of the stuff that I was recording did not get recorded, obviously, Plus I had somebody who came again. My neighbor, he comes all the time and just huge distraction for me. So I actually had put on the drum and forgot to clean behind where the drum sits and stuff, so the wheel hub. So I had to take it back off, and I had to take everything back off and then clean it and stuff. I forgot. That's very important, guys. Don't forget to clean it.
Music licensing reimagined.
So for this deal here, you're supposed to be able to put a screwdriver in there so you can adjust the tension on the shoes on the inside. However, this thing sits up so high. See how high that is? You can actually see the wheel hub in the back. So what I did is got one of these carbide bits or whatever they're called, and basically I extended that hole so it's a lot longer, and I can fit the screwdriver in there even when it's bolted up against. I can fit the flathead screwdriver in there still. It's a very skinny one, but basically all I did was
Music licensing
drill down a little bit, or basically all I did was carve down a little bit so that I could fit that in there, and I'm good. And the plug still fits in there just fine. And then not to mention that I still have the spacer going over that, so we're good. That thing was a pain in the butt to get in there, but it's on. And it's been raining the last few days, so got a little bit rust already. Okay, so when you're bleeding the brakes, all you have to do is go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or whatever you have around your block, buy one of these self kits or whatever they're called, and all you have to do is loosen this nipple up. Okay, pump the brakes. Continue to pump the brakes until you stop seeing bubbles coming out with the liquid. Once you see bubbles stop coming out with the liquid, whoever is pumping the brakes, tell them to hold the brake all the way down, and then you come over here and you close this up. Then they can let go. And then just for good measure, you can open it again, have them pump the brakes 3 times again in case you see any more bubbles coming out, and then again tell them to hold it down, the brake all the way down, and then you can close it up. Again, you don't want to see any bubbles, and you do that for all 4 sides. It's very easy. I want to show you guys real quick how I found the rattling that was coming after I did the IS300 brake upgrade on my Toyota Chaser. Basically, when I was going real slow, I could hear something go, and I knew something was rubbing. So I came and I took apart the brakes, and I found out exactly what it was, and I'm showing you guys how to fix it. So this little deal right here is for the spring and the retainers there. See that thing right there? So what was happening is that bolt behind the brake, when it was spinning, it was hitting that little cap there, but it was on this side. So all I had to do was take it apart, and it was bent out straight, so it was expanded. So I just bent it back and that should take care of that. All right, let's see here. Now you can see that that thing is pushed back and it's not rubbing. No more noise.